Alright guys, so we've waited till the next day. This is all kicked off and looking good. You can see where we stopped there, and we got a little more prep work, clean the headliner glue off and move towards the front of the car. But before we get towards the front, let's finish the back up with some seam sealer next, and we're going to go ahead and do a video on how to seam seal and the stuff that I use. You can use different types of seam sealers. There's catalyzed seam sealers, there's non-catalyzed seam sealers, there's stuff you can buy from the Home Depot if you choose to. Seam sealer is one of those things. It's a pretty important item, you know. It's what keeps the moisture out of the seam where we weld the panels together. And it also seals the panel from the moisture from the underside of the car. Some people think that it's not as important to use catalyzed inside the car as it is on the outside. However, if I'm going to be responsible for the rust and the water intrusion, you know, I'm going to use the best possible product I can get my hands on. You know, why compromise at this point? So we'll be using some 3M heavy bodied seam sealer. They make several different types of this. They make a self-leveling, they make a high flow seam sealer, they make the heavy bodied seam sealer, which works good for a lot of applications. Self-flowing would be more of a, like if you're doing your rain gutters, you know, and you want it to dry real flat and just seal that very fine seam off, you'd use the self-flow. But for what we're doing here, we're going to run a couple beads, repair some beads that are there, and then we got to run some beads on the bottom. So first thing we're going to do is go in and tape the areas off that we want to seam seal, and then we're going to scuff it with a red Scotch-Brite pad. So we need a roll of tape, which we have here. We got a red Scotch-Brite pad, whatever brand, you know. Red is a good choice. It's the right grit, you know. Gray's not quite aggressive enough to get the seam sealer to stick. So we'll scuff it with some red after we tape it, and we'll be applying it with an acid brush and a little spreader, you know. And again, this is probably a good time to have some gloves and some rags and some thinner on hand. Gloves we don't have today. We have everything else. So let me put you on the stand, and I'm going to go around to the other side of the car, jump in there, and we'll start getting this marked off. We'll start with this bottom seam here, and I'll show you how we prep that and how we're going to tape it. So we'll get in there, we'll take the Scotch-Brite pad with us and some tape. What's up, kitty cats? You guys gonna let me get in here? Oh! Alrighty, so what we have here is our fresh epoxy primer, and there's a seam that goes across here. There's a seam on both sides of the wheel wells and of course the back corners. And then we got these little beads right here. We'll just probably freehand those and just repair those. I might just go ahead and tape them because it always comes out nicer if you tape the seam sealer. Give it a more professional look, and I don't know, I just seem this is my preference, you know. I like to do a nice job on the seam sealing. It just finishes the job off, and it protects the job too, you know, for a long time. This is what gives you the water protection, you know, from the outside, from the water getting in on your panel that you just put in. So we're going to go ahead and go with this, and this seems sort of a wide seam here, and we're going to bring this along here. So hope everybody's having a good day today. Hope everybody enjoyed the videos yesterday. Tried to put some videos up for the paint stop, and quite a few people watched them, so I know there's probably been quite a few people waiting for some videos over there, and I apologize about taking my time to get them up, but I'll try to get a more regular flow over there. So there we go. I mean, it's real important that you take your time on the tape, because that's gonna determine how the job looks here, you know. Let me get up here. Butt crack there. Hope you don't get no butt crack in there. Tilt that up a little bit. Guys, this is pretty boring, this part, and I'll try to get Hans to edit some of this out because I know you guys probably don't want to watch me tape a car up for seam sealer, but some of you do, you know. So that's where we're at on that over there. You know, we're just making our outlines of where we want our seam sealer to be. So let me get rocking. And stop talking, as somebody likes to say. Stop talking and stop rocking. Rocking, stop, less talking and more rocking. Yeah, that's it. There we go. I hear the kittens crying. Gonna be down in my Nova today. We're gonna get rid of those cats. And I got a dog house for them, so we'll put them in a dog house and yeah. My car back. That's pretty much what we want. Now we're gonna hit it with a little Scotch Brite, and you know, we're just hitting where we're gonna put the seam sealer. Scuff it so you get good adhesion. Don't get too carried away, you know. I'm here to stick this stuff, obviously. But a little scuffy, you know. Goes a long way. When you're doing this stuff, you want to have a good sanded surface. So there we go. And get an air hose real quick, give it a quick blow there, and throw the seam sealer down. Alrighty then. Alrighty, let me get the gun loaded here and I'll be right in there with you. Everything loaded up here. I'll put this stuff in the car so you can see how it loads and that. Pants pulled up so you guys don't get an ass crack video there. So we got us some thinner, and we're going to open our seam sealer up here. Airtight, baby. Ooh, that's some stinky shit. I like 3M. You guys can buy whatever brand you like. You know, they make 3M, Worth makes it, Lord Fusion makes it. Man, there's just so many companies that make this type of product. You have to decide, you know, what you like. Sims is probably one of the cheaper brands, you know. But I always find myself coming back to the 3M brand. I like 3M. 3M is one of those brands that's involved with the body shop industry probably more than a lot of people think. You know, they do a lot of different things, and so not only do they have good products, but they do a lot of good things for the body shop industry to try to help support it and keep it growing. So you want to run a little of this through your tube, and I got a plastic spreader on the floor out here on the other side of the car. I'm just going to squirt a little out on it, and that's it. Now we're just going to start applying it to the car. They make these guns air operated, which is nice. You know, if you got a shop and you can get your hands on one of those, you probably want to get one of those if you do a lot of seam sealing. This is what I'm using. Looks pretty good. This is a 3M gun. Push the button on that, let that rest there, and then we're going to take our spreader, spread this out. This is going to give us a nice even bead, and come back and pull our tape off, and it'll be looking good. More in this corner here. Again, you know, the seam sealer, you want to make sure everything's sealed. That's the whole idea behind using it. And you know, I don't know if you're getting any of this or not, guys, but I can't stop right now, so. Of course, the glove part comes in when you go to pull this tape off. You know, I'm going to wish I had gloves. And hopefully I got enough seam sealer to do this. I think I do. You always want to buy extra, because you don't want to run out, you know. Alright, that's that. Set that off to the side. And we're going to take our spreader again. And we'll probably have to use the brush on this because it's a little tighter in here. So we'll just brush that in. And we're using our tape, remember, we got tape. And the tape's going to give us a nice edge when we pull the tape off. You know, you want it to look good. You don't want it to look like doo-doo. You're going to take the time to seam seal it, do a nice job, because, you know, definitely makes the job look better for sure. Good seam seal job. Again, I'm a 2-part guy. I don't use 1-part seam sealer. Never. Because most of the shit that you're cleaning off of your car and having trouble with is a 2 or 1 part. You know, we generally replace it with the better stuff. You know, we try to make it a little better, when we redo the cars, you know. So there's no sense not trying to make the job a little nicer, you know. All right, looks like one tube's gonna get us there. That's good. We're gonna drag this. This stuff smells like a dirty diaper. Other than that, it's not bad. There we go. This will protect our repair and our clip, and it'll make it look, you know, unrepaired back here when we paint it. Trying to match the factory seam sealer best we can. And that's it, guys. We got it brushed out. Now we'll go ahead and pull our tape off, and this stuff will lay down. So this is where you really want the gloves. Obviously, I don't have gloves. I told you that. Try to pull it up and get it outside the car. The tape can be the messy part of this, getting the tape off. You want to take the tape off before the seam sealer dries, so it'll not trap your tape. And when that happens, it's not good. So give a little something to grab the tape edges here. Don't want to drop the tape like that. It happens, so this is messy. This is the messy part, man. So you want to be sure you wipe it off your fingertips as you go. I got a rag here with some lacquer thinner. Go ahead and get some of that going on my hands. And then if you do spill a little bit, you know, put a little thinner on the rag and you can just wipe that stuff up. That's one good thing about putting it over epoxy. You know, epoxy is impervious to lacquer thinner once it's hard usually. So, all right, let me get another piece of tape off here. There's that. Gloves, 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 guys. I can't stress enough the gloves are important. Not only does it protect your hands, it keeps them from looking like, you know, you don't wash your hands. So this stuff is catalyzed. It is sort of hard to get off. You want to try to keep the tape as in one piece if you can. It makes it easier when you gotta pull it off. It's the problem I'm running into right now. I used several pieces, and you know, every time you gotta grab another piece of tape, you get more shit on your hands. So. Messy Marvin, guys. Messy Marvin is in the house. shit off me. A few more pieces of tape here. So we got to rebuild the carburetor today for Chip. And Chip's my bus customer. Having a hard time starting the car after it sits. So I'm having a hard time getting this tape off now because I can't grab the edges. That's the other tip I forgot to tell you guys. If you can leave an edge, do so. You know, you can grab a little pull tab if you whatever you want to call it, you know, access your tape after you put the seam sealer on it, you know. And we're getting to the end of our window to get the tape off. This stuff does dry quick. And only got so long to pull the tape out of it before you start pulling the seam sealer up and making a mess, so I want to work quick. Got 2 pieces of tape left. There's one. One more here. Keep your hands clean so you don't get the shit everywhere. There we go. A little piece fall over there. And there you go. That's our seam sealer. And we got a mess on the outside of the car there. We'll get that tape up when it dries. Tip got hard, that's the other thing. This stuff don't, once your tip gets hard, it's hard. So we'll finish the rest of this with the next tip. I'm not gonna put another tip on. Squirt those last couple places on the inside. We still got to seam seal the engine compartment. And when I change the tip for that, we'll change it back up. So anyway. There we go, fall in the car, that's great. There's our seam sealer, you know, we got our seam across there. We got our wheel well seam sealer back then, a back seam. And we'll go ahead and 2K prime this. Once this dries, we'll prime over the seam sealer. It looks sort of like that up there. Then we can sand it and start putting the paint on this bad boy. So there we go. Seam sealer 101, that's the heavy body 3M. And so there you go. Little seam sealer action for you. Alright guys, we'll talk to you later.